how do you come to be Emmure?
I don't know how to answer this. Well, I just had to basically give props to everyone that's ever been a part of the band, pretty much. Everyone kind of brought their own thing into the mix, and we all had like our own take of what things should or could be, and just like the amalgamation of all these different influences we all had separately is kind of what ended up making the sound, and that's really it, and now obviously I'm the only surviving member from inception.
Surviving is an interesting term.
And I just really enjoy like tenacious, like raw things. Like, I just want to make things that like sound exciting. Like I don't care about like the sum. The sum to me is more important than the parts. Like I don't care like how the riff is or is played or the technicality or something. I don't give a, none of that matters to me at all. I care about how it sounds as a whole. So that's really just my end goal, is to make something that when you hear it, you're instantly pulled into it. And then when we go into a live setting, that same music you were listening to in your car or whatever, you would hear it live and it translates perfectly. You're back to that place where like, fuck, it's hitting just right, So that's all I really give a shit about. I don't know how to like say how it became that. It's just kind of like a natural progression, I guess. That's really my whole mindset,
It's been really cool because even with like a huge member swap, you guys have really kept like the core sound, even with like Josh Travis playing almost a completely different style. Like you can't really say Hindsight is like super different from the Respect issue, besides a band like growing and different members. It's still like the core styles there. I dig it. It's really cool.
Thanks.
Hindsight came out a couple weeks ago. It was my number one of the week. What is new on this album compared to the stuff we've heard in the past?
Well, it was really difficult for me personally to get into the headspace of like, all right, Look at Yourself was such a bop and so many fans celebrated it, and we brought new people in and old people back, and
so it was really fast too.
I was like, so we're probably not going to top Look at Yourself in terms of like fan appeal, and I just wanted to aim towards making something that was still us at its core, like you mentioned, but just hasn't just some new emotions, some new ideas, some different takes on things that we haven't done before. So that was really it. I wanted every song that on the record to have its own identity. So when you're listening to track 1, you know it's track 1. You're listening to track 10, you know it's track 10, and that's really it. I don't know how really else to explain it other than I just want it to sound like Emmure, but also sound different. I think every band attempts that. They want to be able to stay within their wheelhouse, but also deliver up something new. So I hope that in some way we accomplish that.
Definitely. I think it's really interesting that you're self-aware. Like the last album's really good. We're not going to top that. I think a lot of bands aren't self-aware like that. So when they have like a quote-unquote classic album or their best release, they usually follow it up with a stinker because they're trying something like so over the top better it doesn't work out. I wouldn't say that was the issue at all on Hindsight. It's a completely different project than Look at Yourself. I dig it. It's cool.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I definitely wouldn't want to make a Look at Yourself part 2. I don't think that would be interesting either. So I just wanted to, again, make something that was at least somewhat being like, yo, this is different and it's a whole new experience, but you don't turn the album on and go, what band is this? You know exactly what band it is. It never takes away the experience of listening to what Emmure is. So yeah, hopefully, people can still enjoy the record for years to come.
Definitely. The song that seems to stand out the most is I've Seen God. All the band name drops. Everyone on Twitter is like, oh, Frankie's beefing with all these people. Did you get a kick out of people thinking that this is about beef, or like what was the reaction to that song?
Yeah, I knew people would talk about it. That's the whole point of it, and what people don't realize about that song and a lot of Emmure songs in general is that Emmure's material lyrically is very schizophrenic. So the verse of that song has almost nothing to do with what I was initially writing. The opening lyrics of the song are "I both see and am God," which I took that from an episode of The Simpsons I was watching.
Not where I thought that came from.
Yes.
So like I was in Germany and we had a day off and I decided to go into Amsterdam and eat mushrooms and like just hang out and shit.
Why
So
not?
I took the train to Amsterdam and like partied. But on my train ride there, I was watching The Simpsons, and in that episode, I was watching Principal Skinner goes to like some like science fair or something like that, and he ends up somehow taking some kind of hallucinogen. And the quote in the episode when he's tripping is he's talking to, I forgot what the other character's name, his superior, the Shalm or whatever his name is. He's like, he literally says, "I both see and am God," and I was like, wow, that's such a profound and yet like clever way to describe what it's like to be like heavily heavily influenced by an LSD or mushrooms or something like that, where you do in a sense feel like a connection with God. You feel like you see God, but you also feel like you are a part of God. So that's kind of where that lyric came from. But then when he got to that point in the song where the rap verse happens, I had been working on I thought it'd be cool to just make a rap verse just filled with band names, because obviously Emmure is the kind of word that like you'll never hear it in the real world. Like no one's so like it's our band name is so obscure that like you'll never have the chance to put it into rap. So I was like, how about I just take all these band names that are like regular words and I just make a rap verse out of it. So when we got to that part of the song, we're in the studio, it was an empty slot, and he's like, "What lyrics are gonna go here?" I'm like, "I don't know yet." And I was like, you know what? I think I got something. And I've been working on this for a little while. And I knew people would be like, oh, like, what does this mean? He hates his bands, his band hate him, whatever. So like I knew it would cause a frenzy, and obviously I like pretty much all those bands. I think they're all like dope. So it's not a thing for anybody. It's just something creatively I thought would be interesting to do. And again, it's funny how even though they are two separate ideas, when I mesh them together, it seems like one cohesive thing. So,
first of all, it was fucking beautiful. The entire track is beautiful, man.
That shit's funny to me now.
It's great. It's great. And so let me connect these dots real quick. You were tripping on mushrooms while you watched the episode of The Simpsons where they were tripping, and they said the quote.
I was on my way to go.
Oh, okay.
Pre-tripping.
Bro, yeah, I was about to say, dude, that was God talking to you. That was God telling you that you are the scene God, and that it is your journny to be on forever. Like,
well, when I was on mushrooms, that line from The Simpsons, like really, like it became even like more of like a blossoming thing in my head. I was like, wow, like that really hits home. So I was like, wow, that's really cool. So we were writing that song. That was the lyric I chose for that song. And like I said, when we got to that break in the song where there was no lyrics, I'm in the studio with my engineer, and he's like, so what are you thinking? I'm like, I think I have something that will work for this. And it's interesting how like then these two separate ideas, when you mesh them together, seem like one cohesive thing. So
hey, and it was great, man. You were mentioning being in Germany when that was going down. We have a fan question actually from Dayton. What's your favorite country to play in? Real quick, if you can drop that on us.
Oh, it's really hard to answer. I mean,
you're gonna offend all the other ones.
No, it's not. It's just that I don't even know what a favorite thing is, because everywhere we go, we're so blessed. We have a ton of people that support us and want to come see us. I mean, everywhere from literally Florida to Shanghai, there's hundreds of people that fuck with the band. So it's hard to say what stands out. I honestly, in terms of like just my personality and what I like to like be around, I love being in Japan. Performing there is cool, but even if I wasn't performing there, I'd just go and hang out there. So I'll say Japan for the sake of having an answer, but it's really hard to say what our favorite place is, because again, we're celebrating so many places. It's pretty great,
That's awesome, man, and you've definitely, I think, made an impact in all those places. So it's good that they've gone that far and that you're able to feel that way everywhere that you go. Hey,
why
so
am I not surprised to hear Japan with all the Street Fighter tattoos and the lyrics, Tetsumaki
Shibuya
and all that?
So hey, what's up next for Emmure, man? You dropped the album. Obviously, nobody's touring, nobody's playing festivals or doing shows. Are you waiting for that to kind of kick back around? Do you guys have any virtual stuff planned? What do you got coming up?
Right now, on a personal level, I'm just kind of taking some time to like readjust to what's happening in the world and not really thinking too much about like what's going to happen with the band. I would like to get another record out. That's kind of my end goal, I guess, in terms of like what I want to see the band do. If we can tour again, that would be nice. I don't know when that will be a reality, But if I can't do that anytime soon, I would like sooner than later to put another piece of music out, because I've been doing a ton of writing. And since the release of Hindsight and seeing like the feedback of the record, it totally like pushed my mind in a whole new direction. So I'm really excited to share with people like where my mind's at now with the band. I think they'll be really excited.
Awesome.
We interviewed our friend Casey Sable was on the show a few weeks back. He said he recorded, I think, a song or two with you around 2010. He doesn't really remember. We started spouting off all sorts of album titles, and he wasn't sure what it was. He said you came in and you one-taked it in the booth. Like, is that regular for you? Do you go in and Jay-Z, Lil Wayne the verse, or like how's that happen for you?
Yeah, most of the time it's just one take.
That's fucking hard.
Oh no! Yes, that is epic. That is
Your
so
engineer must love you.
Yeah, you could ask Joey Sturgis and anyone else who's ever recorded me. They'll say the same thing. I just kind of go in and knock it out. I don't know. I never had a problem in that sense of like getting in there just immediately feeling comfortable. I don't know what it's like. I'm not in the studio when other bands are recording, so I have no clue what other people are experiencing. But it's definitely flattering to hear people, give me props or something like that, which I don't even really think it's that special. I just do my thing,
I just think it's cool because it's efficient, because there's nothing worse than when the red light goes on and someone freezes up. And of course, like, that shouldn't be happening at a band of like your level, but that shit's crazy to me. Go in, one take it.
Yeah, for sure.
Emmure is one of the few bands that I know of that had success and survived being on Victory Records. I know at one point you guys even re-signed there, which I thought was crazy, and then you produced.
We re-signed twice, by the way.
Twice.
Whoa.
Okay, I only knew of the one, and I know like what Speaker of the Dead, Slave to the Game, I think was a part of it.
Yeah,
oh my God.
I'll tell you the story. So we had a 4-record contract. We did Gallows, Respect Issue Felony, and Speaker of the Dead, and then because of the success of Speaker and everything before that, pretty much they were like, "Yo, like stay with us, and let's do another album." So they wrote us a big fat check, and we're like, "All right, cool, we'll do it again." And then we were free agents after that one record, after Eternal Enemies. They were like, no, come back again. So they wrote an even fucking fatter check.
Dang.
And that's where Slave to the Game came from. The only reason I'm not with Victory now, I like Tony. Tony's an alright guy. But with most bands, pretty much, like especially when you're a band like from America, and you want to become more successful in other territories, the problem with Victory Records is that they don't really have a presence in other countries like Australia, Europe, Japan. Like they're not a known or recognized brand or label there, and they also don't really have the on-hand assets or tools to blow your band up there. So because the longevity of a band, like I'm saying, especially from America, is to become more successful outside of your home territory, signing with Nuclear Blast was the best bet, because they are a monster in Europe, Australia, Japan, every other place. And Sharp Tone Records, which is what people usually associate us with, is like the sister company of Nuclear Blast. So they handle all the American territory that Nuclear Blast never really had a hand in. So the matrimony of those two brands together was just the best option for Emmure moving forward,
Has Sean Keith managed you guys from the get-go?
I can't believe you said his first and last name so candidly like that.
Am I getting shot? Yeah, Sean Sumerian.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's just it's rare.
Oh,
No, it happened again. See, he was right. I shouldn't have said his name.
Dang.
Oh, that's okay. So that scares the shit out of me for 2 reasons. Because back in like 2009, I used to do a lot of business over AIM, and I actually knew Sean Sumerian's AIM, and I'd communicate back and forth. He promised me an Emmure interview that didn't happen, and I was like, "Oh man, this sucks." Blah blah. And they're like, "Yeah, don't say a fucking word though." I'm like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "He's big time." What I was getting to is I've been told that, I don't know if it's true, but I always thought it was super interesting that like Sean Sumerian, the guy who co-founded Sumerian Records, had a hand in managing Emmure, but Emmure was never on Sumerian. So, and then from the outside looking in, we just learned a lot about Victory. But from the outside looking in, you're like, well, how did they end up anywhere of like Victory?
It's so funny because Frankie is literally the third person that has said this exact quote I'm gonna get him in when I say this.
That
Frankie, we
you just
understand
scared
that
the
we
shit out of me.
we understand that we said a no word. and
No,
we
no,
weren't
you
supposed
didn't.
to-
No, I think that's really funny. You didn't. You didn't. No, yeah, I've known Sean for a long time. He started working with the band and started managing us right around the time Felony came out, like right before that album dropped. So he's been, yeah, it's been like 11 years that he's been like on my team and very closely working with Emmure and myself. So I got a lot of love and respect for that guy. He's been a huge supporter of me and has always had my back with like everything I've ever wanted to do. So he's a really great guy to have in your corner.
I just thought it was really interesting that he co-founded Sumerian, yet Emmure's never been a Sumerian band, so it must have been something interesting there.
Well, I think that it would have been a conflict of interest for us to be managed also and be managed by Shaw, but also be on Sumerian. Plus, we were already like very much in bed with Victory Records, like. Also, IHATETHESCENE never sent me an offer, so it's that part too. So I don't think it's like too far fetched to just
He was probably too busy making movies.
You're inside.
Right. Well, I don't think at that point he was in the movie business yet, but yeah. Again, I think it would have been a conflict of interest if we had been in both seats, but. Again, we were the Victory, so it was never even like you would have thought. So.
There's real quick. There's actually there's a bounty out for a real copy of the of that movie he did, the fucking Barry movie. What was it called?
The one with beer sack in it?
Yeah.
What there's like an alternate cut or something?
Isn't he the Sumerian guy did that movie, right? That was the whole. No,
something about a devil. I don't remember the name, but I didn't watch it.
They were trying to find a hard copy of it on Facebook the other day. There was a shit ton of people from bands back in the day that were like, "Where's that video at? We gotta find that video." And I was like, "What the fuck are they talking about?" And it was that stupid Barry. They were looking for a hard copy of that Barry.
I didn't have people like say that was like a super cool movie that you had to see. So that's kind of interesting.
I was like, "What the fuck?" It dawned on me. You're also like the third person I know that has said in quote, Tony, he's an all right guy from Victory Records. You actually gave us a lot of insights of Victory.
I just learned a lot.
Appreciate that. Yeah, no, man, that's the fat checks are always nice. Yes, that'll always keep people re-signing. For anybody out there starting a label, you want good artists to come back, sign them fat checks. I feel like that should be number one right there for y'all.
You guys had success, and it clearly went well. You got the fat checks and whatnot. Did you ever think it was weird that there were other Victory bands that had like the complete opposite experience?
Well, the thing with Victory is that you get what you sign up for, and we always knew, like, we knew we were shaking hands with the devil. Like, it's not like we were like, oh my god, like, fucked over. Like, it's not like that, And look, our deal wasn't bad. Like, we had complete control of our merch. Like, they didn't like tax us on our touring merch. They would give us unique. They would give us CDs to sell. They would like pretty much go above and beyond to promote every album. We were doing tons of press. Like the internal team of Victory was really good. The art people, PR people, like it's a good home for a band that wants to like take it serious. Like if you are a good band with work ethic and you're willing to realize that there's no like red carpet of waiting for you when you get out of your fucking 15-passenger van, then like you'll be all right. And we were just crazy enough to be like, all right, fuck it, we'll do it. Like, and just take the hit of like not really getting residuals from like, at that time, hard sales. Like streaming wasn't really even a thing yet. So yeah, I mean, it was not a bad experience. I understand that like there are bands that are like, fuck Tony, this and that. It's like, you get what you sign up for. Like it's all in plain English, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not like you sign the deal and then they bamboozle you, let you know you get exactly what you're getting. And for us it just worked out that we were so fucking crazy and willing to like deal with like not having any money and living like fucking bums for like years and years and years, which a lot of bands and young people are not really keen to that. They kind of tap out at a certain point. And Victory Records is that kind of label where they're going to test you to see if you can fucking hack it, don't expect to get like some fucking magic fucking, $10,000 check because you decided to go on tour for a whole summer. It doesn't fucking work like that. Like if your fucking band is dope, hopefully you're getting on some good tours. And hopefully at some point a fucking agent wants to fuck with you and actually help you build your brand. Because Emmure was DIY, even when we were on Victory. Like we still were booking our own shows. Like everything was just us. But having the cosign of Victory put us in this kind of like bracket where like we went from like being a support band headlining a few shows to being like, oh, and yours playing their headlining. Like every show, oh, and yours on the headline. Just because we're on Victory. It was just for that alone.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, again, it was just us being like really stubborn and kind of understanding the situation we're in. And I'll be honest, it was good like for us. And there was never a time where Tony or anyone at that office was ever like, oh, you guys can't write a song like that or do this or whatever. Like, they always were in our corner. So I again, Tony's an extremely competitive, kind of wild dude, which is why Victory is like, or was whatever, like one of the biggest indie labels ever.
Yeah, maybe the biggest.
Yeah, they're big bands.
Yeah.
So
at least for namesake. At least for namesake, they are. You know.
I get people's beef with him and stuff, but he doesn't do anything that isn't in fucking Preston Inc. So
hey man, you've been dropping nuggets all show. A bunch of sound words and sound advice. What are your rules of the road for anybody that's looking to get a band started, get a band going, get into the tour life, get their band signed, start making deals? What are your rules of the road? What do bands have to know? Like your top 3 or 5 points of advice, man.
Be kind to everyone, no matter what position they're in. You never know who's going to be like there for you in the long term. And I guess just be ready to like sacrifice everything, like literally everything in your life for your dream, whatever that dream may be. And that's not just being a touring band. It's just like everything in general. Like you gotta be willing to like put everything aside and be laser focused on something. And we just were all so fucking just like stubborn and crazy and decided and never let up, like we just knew if we kept pushing on that we'd get people's attention. And I don't know, it varied in degree of faith and belief, I guess, but we all had that commonality. I guess that's really my only 2 major points of advice. I don't know how else to tell people about it, but I don't think people are really realize what they're signing up for when they say, oh, I want to be in a band, I want to go on tour. It's like, all right, well, are you ready to like miss everyone's birthday, miss funerals? Are you ready to like not have a fucking like legit girlfriend for like years, or like have a fucking job that fucking pays you, or like possibly piss away like years of your life or something that might not even fucking work out? It's a crazy risk that you take when you chase this kind of thing down. But if you have the right attitude, and I think that you really kind of like stay steadfast, I think you take a great places. So I don't know, it's like I guess I just always had that like faith in myself that I would be able to make a name for myself in music in some capacity. So I don't know how other people conduct themselves, but again, my piece of advice: be kind and be ready to give it all up for whatever you want out of life.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful.
I can attest to that first rule: be kind and be respectful. Because, I mean, in the shallow aspect, you never know who's going to make it. There's been times when I was friends with someone, I helped someone out who really wasn't anything, and then they ended up being in a position of power in the touring industry. So that's been interesting. I've always thought it was funny how local bands, like an unsigned band, they think the end game is getting signed, as if that's the pinnacle, because it's far from it. It's always like you got to get signed, and then you have to start putting in the work as a real band, as a real business. It sounds like you guys might have actually had a harder time after you were signed, because, like you said, you were broke and you were going out on the road and trying to get your name out there. Was it more difficult afterwards, like being on that grind?
Well, no one gave a shit about Emmure for a while. Like even before we got signed to Victory, like we would kind of like send our demos and stuff to labels, and we had an EP and we did it independently and we're touring on and stuff like that. And people just were like, "No, we're not interested." And Victory was like pretty much the first and only like major name that was like, "Yeah, we want you guys to come like showcase for us." And then obviously we signed for 6 albums after that. But I don't know. It's a grind, man. Like it never lets up. Like you're always like having to like sacrifice shit and cut corners and get used to like, living impoverished pretty much. I mean, you kind of have to adapt, if you want that lifestyle. I mean, look, you can go get like a secure job as like a garbage man. Like you can go do, there's nothing wrong with that. It's totally fine. Or you could again, like live out of a backpack and like eat, fucking McDonald's for like 5 years straight, and then hopefully something comes of it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how to say it was harder after yeah, I mean, it's just the range difficulty has stayed the same. You know, there's no time to celebrate. You know, all there is work ethic. You know, so to me, celebrating is just like it's for children. It's like, you know, like what is there to celebrate? There's still so much more to do. You know, so that, I guess that's just kind of been our attitude. At least my attitude the whole time is like, yeah, like sure, like even when money comes or whatever, like that doesn't fucking make shit easier. It just means you have a bigger thing to worry about. You know, you have a bigger pot to like make sure it stays together so you can continue to grow the brand, make your show better, buy better gear, you know what I'm saying? Like fix your van. Like it's a crazy ass investment of your time and your life and energy. And I would never deter people from it, but I just hope people understand that it's not like some like magic road of validation and attention that gets you like to stardom. It's a lot of sacrifice, you know.
It's not all fun and games, and this is why a lot of bands break up before they
I
ever.
can't hear you guys. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Yeah,
we can hear you. Yeah,
I can't hear you guys at all. Let me see if I can fix that.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Great.
Here, I got you in the private chat.
Oh man, we fucked it up.
No,
He's got a
man,
good point
he's
though,
good.
because being, like he says, being in a band. I mean, this dude, Emmure is a big fucking deal in this scene. They've toured.
I got nothing. I got no sound from you guys.
What
I'm
the
gonna
hell happened?
I don't know
private
what's
chat.
wrong
Mike.
with this thing. Here, hold on. Give me one more moment. Hold on a second. I got this.
He's telling us like he went out on the road like Goodbye to the Gallows, The Respect Issue, Felony, records that us as fans probably considered to be a big deal, and they're broke on the road like eating McDonald's. They're not having like steak and lobster. They're not a famous fucking Rolling Stones or Metallica type band.
Well,
It
I
is
mean,
really difficult to be in the band.
Well, yeah,
I've
bands at
never
this
been in a
stature should
successful
understand
band.
that. Bands at this stature should understand that. Bands at this stature should
Someone
understand
like
that.
that, yeah, definitely. I'm more speaking to local bands, unsigned bands. Okay, for instance, the band that wants to have merch ideas before they have a song written. That's always fucking annoying. You don't have your head on straight. I know a lot of local bands out here especially love to try to put out a music video for every fucking song. That shit is stupid. Okay? Like bands at this level have like 0 to no budget for a music video. So you're not going to have a Hype Williams, Busta Rhymes cool ass video. You're going to be in a warehouse, or you're going to be in a forest. So why waste your time putting out a shitty video when you could just have a lyric video? People understand your lyrics, they sing it at your shows, and the shit works. I tell people that all the time. There's no point in going and booking a fucking music video or having Ladies of Metal in it, because they're not going to do anything for you to promote it. They don't give a fuck either. Like, I don't know if you know that shit company. Shouts to Ivana. Sue me.
I have Windows 98. You gotta forgive me.
Oh my god, you're lying.
Oh shit.
Does he hear us?
I hear you guys.
Oh,
Okay,
thank
cool,
God.
man. That's awesome.
Okay. I only have a couple questions left. One of the things I've always wanted to know, because I came in on the Respect issue and that record like blew me out the water. I fucking broke up with my ex over it. It was awesome. How did Kurt Angle get on the cover? Was that a move by the band or the label?
So, for some reason, I guess Tony had a friend or some connection to TNA Wrestling, and so Victory and TNA decided to team up and kind of use each other as a cross promotion platform. And when we were doing this is so funny. When we were doing that record, I remember, like, you know, the band would kind of always look to me like, all right, Frank, like, what's the album art? What's this going to be about? Blah, blah, blah. And I always felt I had like pretty decent ideas, and then a lot of times they just get shut down. And I'd be like, you know, I was like, dude, you know what? Like, it was my drummer Joe. I was like, Joe, like, go ahead, Joe. Tell me your idea. What should it be? And he literally, I'll never forget where we were. I think it was like we're outside the van. So we're on tour somewhere. But I distinctly remember staying outside the van. And he's like, all right, I think the record should be like a boxer. And I just like, okay. That's what it is then. Like, this is over conversation. That's what it's gonna be. I'm so over talking about it, and we presented that to the label. Like, all right, this is what the album cover is gonna be. It's gonna be a fucking box or whatever. It's whatever. Don't get me started on nonsense about it is. I was like, yeah, that's what it is. And so what they did was they're like, all right, cool. Well, check it out. What we're gonna do is we're gonna have the box be Kurt Angle, and it literally was a surprise to us. I was like, fucking seriously, like Kurt Angle, like
yes.
It was not something that we kind of reached for. It was just the label being like, yo, you know what we could do? We have this in with TNA Wrestling. We can get this guy to be on the album cover, and then we'll use your music to be his ring. So Emmure played when Kurt Angle was walking to the ring for the pay-per-view, and it was the music for the pay-per-view event. So it was just a big cross promotion thing.
Hell
like
yes.
I was watching TNA at the time, so that was super fucking cool to me. Are you a wrestling fan?
Yeah, actually, I am a wrestling fan, but I'm like an ebb and flow wrestling fan. Like when I was a kid,
We all are.
Loved
We
it.
all are.
And then I'm like, this shit's whack. I'm over it. And then something happens, like I'm watching it somewhere, and I'm like, oh, I'm fucking in again. Like it just pulls me back in. So right now I'm at a stage where like I don't really follow it. I don't really care. But I still am like retroactively a fan. Like I still will like go watch like classic matches and like talk to like my one wrestling nerd friend and ask him like, yo, what do you think about this? Like, because what fascinates me now about wrestling isn't what happens in the ring and whatever, the showmanship. What fascinates me about wrestling is the business, like the way that the characters move and how they build the brand. Like that's what pulls me in now. So it went from me being like, I love the Undertaker, to being like, is the Undertaker going to wrestle anymore? That makes me more curious, you know.
The dark side of the ring stuff, the behind the scenes stuff that's exciting, right? The stuff that you don't want to believe is real as a kid is the stuff that's exciting now that you're an adult. You're like, oh shit, the real shit that goes on behind the scenes. I have to ask, now that we know you're a closeted wrestling fan, what's your favorite match of all time?
I think it might be Razor Ramon's debut match. Just because.
Oh, what a
classic!
throwback!
Yes.
We just watched that like 2 weeks ago at my pad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Either that.
The first episode of Raw. It was the first episode of Raw, wasn't it?
I don't know. It's either that match or the first match that the 1-2-3 Kid got over. Which is also another Razor match. But both are
You're speaking to my heart, bro.
I'm gonna go and drop a third one just because New Jack from ECW is my favorite wrestler ever. Him versus fucking
Vic Grimes.
Vic Grimes, yeah. That's just, you know,
the brain damage match.
Yeah.
Oh God!
Shout out to New Jack because I'm friendly with New Jack and he's a really cool guy.
Shout out to New Jack. First New Jack shout out on the show. And hey, that dark side of the ring was one of the toughest to watch because for me it was like, man, this is a kid that just loved wrestling his entire life and unfortunately has just loved it so much he's made a name for himself where they will not work with him. Like the biggest names will not work with him, and it's so unfortunate because he just loves wrestling and like.
New Jack is the shit, dude. If Emmure played his theme when he came out and like beat people up with a shopping cart of weapons, that would have been ill.
Could you imagine?
But you would have had to been a band in like '97.
No, but you guys can remake that song. You guys can.
Oh my God! Speaking of getting sued for copyright,
Frankie, hey, come on, you can make that happen.
What you don't know is I've already talked about it.
Yes!
I've already talked about it. Yes! There's a whole covers album that we haven't done yet.
Yes. Hey, can we have like one or two? Can we have one or two?
Other ideas?
Yeah.
Cover songs.
One of the other songs I wanted to do was My Hero by Foo Fighters.
Oh, that's
I don't even know how that would go as an emotion. Oh my God.
That song goes hard. Also, what other song goes super hard people don't know about? Oh, Murder Was the Case by Snoop Dogg.
Yes.
Any hip hop song that you would cover would be immediately sick as shit, but also any new metal song that Emmure covered would be sick as shit.
Yeah, we at one point we're gonna do a Korn cover, but there were some major discrepancies internally, and it never happened. Like,
what song?
I was like, we should do Clown.
Ooh, Freak on a Leash. Freak on a Leash.
Freak on a Leash would have been cool, but I think Clown would have matched more with my tone and like what I could do vocally, which in my opinion is what makes the cover like really pop off. Mm-hmm. But we ended up doing our own version of Got the Life, and it just didn't carry well. Like we finished it, and I was like, this is not gonna. I love Jonathan Davis, like his voice, stuff like that, but like how he sings in that song specifically is so unique to him that I can't replicate that. I don't think anyone can properly. So it just didn't really come across right. Plus, it was more just kind of like copy paste. Like we didn't do anything with the music to make it like sound like Emmure, just literally sound like a porn cover, but like it sound like me singing a porn song to the porn track.
I know it's
I get frustrated thinking about it because if we had done Clown, it would have been sick, but everyone else in my band just did not understand.
I'm gonna be forever crossing my fingers for an Emmure cover album, but I know how much of a bitch that can be to go and get the rights and the licensing for all those songs.
The only way we could ever do it is if we made it free. So
yeah.
That's probably what.
Pandemic's the perfect time.
It would have to be a passion. It would have to be a passion project.
Yeah, it would have to be like some kind of link on Bandcamp.
Hey,
like
you got
Emmure covers album.
You got 2 more streams right here, man. I don't know, I feel like a good Limp Bizkit. I feel like you could get some Corn.
I'll leave it on all night. I don't care.
A Deftones cover or a
I would like to hear Emmure
cover
cover a song that's actually like a crappy pop song and turn it good.
Well, yeah, another song we were gonna do. I'm giving out secrets now. Is Icebox by Omarion.
Oh,
that was another song I was working on too. So yeah, there's a lot of ideas for that that's just in the chamber that just hasn't been fired off yet.
Tell me that it would have been recorded like Icebox Where My Heart Used to Be, bitch.
No, but that's an interesting take. I like that. That's pretty cool.
Have you ever counted how many times you say bitch on a record? Because I love it. I fucking love it.
That's funny. I don't know. Someone has to add them up now. I'm sure it's a good amount.
Oh my God, through the whole catalog. You heard it. Dayton, get on it.
Is there a...
I lost you guys again with the sound. I don't know what happened.
Oh,
man. Every time I touch my dick, we lose them. I gotta... dude, I only had one question.
I was just going to say, is there a specific woman behind every bitch on here?
Dude,
he's like,
many times
Stacey, Karen, Jessica.
As many times as
Penelope.
he says bitch in all the albums, it's gotta be different people.
Yeah.
You fucking bitch.
Man, our most technically disruptive episode, but maybe our best.
You know what? I think the episode with Chris Qualls had more technical difficulties because we can still hear Frankie. It sounds good, but he just loses us.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. I literally just want to ask him what his least favorite Emmure song is. They always have an interesting answer for that because it's like, well, obviously, fans love the catalog, but you're performing them every night. So you've got to be sick of your own material by then.
I'm going to say Rough Justice.
I'm
going to say Rough Justice.
I don't even want to say what I think the answer is.
What do you think it is?
Like RJ Deep Throat or something.
Why?
R2 Deep Throat.
I could see that.
Yeah, just because of like past drama. I don't know. I could be wrong. I mean, I love the subject matter.
Hey, I wonder.
Why am I small? What'd you do to me?
I'm just trying to see what would happen.
Oh, when you take away. Hey,
that doesn't work.
Oh, can you hear us? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why that happens to my computer, but
it's all good. I'm gonna get you a free Windows XP copy, bro. I just want to know, what is your favorite Emmure song and what is your least favorite Emmure song? Because you got to hear them all the time.
I don't know. My favorite, honestly, and this is the answer I've had for years, is the song I haven't written yet. That's my favorite Emmure song. The one that's just sitting there waiting to be birthed. Least favorite, I don't want to say because I don't even know what the answer is. There's a lot of material that like I don't think is that strong, but I'll let the fans figure that stuff out. I don't think it's fair for an artist to say like what is or isn't about their catalog, because then it kind of like depletes the value for someone who might really enjoy it. So I'd be careful to answer that question.
Valid.
Wow,
I would think it'd be
it.
like more of a gem, like, oh, this is the one Frankie doesn't like. I'm gonna listen to it really loud today.
No, that's cool. I'd be interested. I'm more interested to see what other people think is like the weakest link,
Or when you play it live, you just get a standing ovation, right? Though everybody knows you hate it.
They're all
you
standing. There's no sitting. There's no assigned seating at an Emmure show.
But I mean like an illustrious 10-minute clap off where it's just like, yes, Frankie, we knew it was a lot of work. We knew you hated it. We knew it wasn't what you wanted, but you did it for us. We appreciate it. Thank you.
No. That's never happened, thankfully.
All right. Well,
do you have any crazy tour stories, anything wild that happened to you in the past couple years? I mean, I'm sure there's an ultimate crazy tour story. I don't mean to make you go back like 15 years or nothing.
All right, I have one story that I can always call back to that I think is pretty wild. So the first time we ever went to Canada, this must have been 2005 or 6 or something like that.
Dang. Okay.
We went to the border, and we had never ever gone to Canada before, so this is all new world for us. And we go to the counter, and the guy's like, "All right, like whatever, like give your passports or whatever." And then he's like, "All right, cool. All right, you guys can go through." Like, "All right, that's it." Like, "Yeah, you're good." I'm like, "All right, fine." And he didn't know that we actually didn't go through like the first part of the border process. We just skipped it somehow. So we
skipped the U.S. side.
I have no idea what happened. But all I know is that he should not have let us through. So we're like, we're laughing. No. We're like laughing, like, "Oh my god, that was so easy." Everyone said it'd be so hard to get in, yada yada. So we're driving, and then maybe like 10 minutes into the drive, like on the highway, cop car from all directions, coming behind us, in front of us, like just swarming us. You guys hear my phone in the background? I'm sorry.
A little bit. I'm sure it's important.
No one ever calls me. That's why I'm looking at it. Like, why would anyone call me? But so what am I saying with the story? So anyway, the cops come in all directions, pulling out guns, like, "Don't fucking move, yada yada." And they're like, "We have no idea what happened." It turns out they never were supposed to let us go through the border that easily, and they turned us around and made us go back. Then they did let us in, but our first time in Canada was police and guns drawn. So
wow,
welcome to Canada.
Who even knew that the Canadian police had guns? I had no fucking idea.
Strapped. They're strapped. And yeah, it's just crazy coming from all the off ramp everywhere, just like woo woo woo, because like we just pretty much just like bailed on the border, and they let us go. It wasn't like we were being nefarious. We were just like, "Sorry, we don't know what happened." Like, so they thankfully they were cool, and they weren't like, you know, "Get out of the ground." They just were like came into the van.
Get the fuck out of the ground, scumbag.
Yeah, none of that happened.
Canada would never do that. They're way too nice, man.
They'd come at you on horses or something.
Canada, like, I can understand how that happened, though. Like, I drive bandwagons. I have to do, like, the long process of going into Canada. And there's been, like, the last time I was there, I hope no one from the Mounties is listening, accidentally smuggled weed back into the States. I didn't even know it was still in my van. I'd cleaned it out. But, like, it's just wild, like, how
one
you can have
time
drama there.
One time we were going back through the border, and this is, like, 2015 or 14 or something. And a person who was working for us left the tour to go do something at home, some incident happened, whatever. And so they left. We go to Canada, and we get through just fine. And someone before, like when we were still in the States, someone had gifted me with an Emmure bong, like a glass piece. And
nice.
Like whatever, we got through Canada with it just fine. Like it's just a piece of glass, really, and they can't really.
No residue. It's clean.
Right. So anyway, we get in, we're fine. But on our way out, they decide to do a very, very thorough check of the vehicle we're in, this big bandwagon or whatever. And they find the dude who left the tour, they find his little canister that he's been keeping weed in. They find crumbs of weed, like nothing, dust, right? But that makes them fucking search the whole motherfucker like deep. And they find the bong and everything. And like, I didn't know that they found it yet. We're sitting in the, what's it called? The passport office, or the border office. We're sitting there, and all of a sudden I see them come out of the back room with the bong and shit. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, we're fucked. So, like, they're like, whose bong is this? I'm like, that's mine. And they were cool. They were just like, all right, well, we found a little weed and found this bong, but like, you know, yes, you know, whatever. It wasn't like they found like some insane amount of drugs. They just happened to come across the shit.
It wasn't a big drug bust.
They
just more paperwork.
They let me keep the bong, which is pretty nice.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I've gone through there. I toured like for the past 4 years. I've been going with reggae bands, and of course the bandwagon smelled like bud. And we go through there, and they go, "So we need to search your bus again because it smells like narcotics." And I wanted to jump up and say, "Weed's not a narcotic," but that's how they get you. So I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Got through just fine.
Little did you know, Frankie, the Mounties are just huge felony fans. They're like, you know what? We like
Sunday
ya,
bacon just does it for them, dude.
We like you. You're a good kid, and they sent you on your way.
Dude, the people that work border in Canada are like the most condescending people. Sometimes they're just like, "You're an man, that's cool." They ask they'll ask you a bunch of questions to like act like they're actually interested, and just kind of give you like, "Yeah." Nice.
They're like, "What do you do?" Yeah, I'm in a bit. Yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah, they asked me. They're like, "How long are you in Canada?" I don't know. A couple days. How many days? I don't fucking know. A couple days.
And they always want to ask what your band name is, just to be like, "Never heard of it." Every time.
Yeah.
Like, you'd be
Exactly.
like, you're nobody.
Hey, they do the same shit to like the Rolling Stones though. The Rolling Stones could say that same shit and they'd be like, never heard of it.
Yeah.
No, hey,
I've been
never heard
telling
of it.
them that I'm with Skillet for the past 7 years, so fuck them.
Skillet.
I just say I'm one of the guys in Slipknot. They let me right through.
No, because then they ask where your mask is. So what's next for you, Frankie? Hindsight's out right now. It's dope as shit. You're the scene god. What do you got going on? Just pandemic stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting in the same shit boat as everybody else in the world, hoping that things get better and that, you know, normalcy, whatever normal ends up looking like. Hopefully I'm healthy enough to survive that long to see it happen. That's really what's next for me. But in terms of Emmure, I know I said it before. I don't know when we're going to be able to play live again. There's no like virtual tour or anything like that set for us. I would like to have a new record out sooner than later. I know people waited 3 years for this one, and I'm pretty invigorated, or reinvigorated, I should say, to make something new. So hopefully I can have that happen sooner than later. But yeah, it's just going on.
So less than a 3-year wait. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I would like for it to be either next year or at the latest 2022.
And if there's not, then go back and listen to the previous catalog because it's all sick, all of them. There's like, dude, you're almost up to 10 albums now. It's a lot of shit.
Yeah, I recently Googled like metal band with most records released. Technically, through pure technicality, it's Buckethead. He has like something like 300 albums or something like that is released.
Whoa, gross.
Yeah, but like, yeah. Well, anyway, but like, then there's people like Motorhead. I think is lower on the list in the top 10 who did like 20 or 30 or something like that. So it'd be cool if Emmure can like be one of those bands where it just have like this huge body of work. But we'll see what happens.
God, imagine what the material sounds like at the end of that. You guys are like full blown dubstep and shit.
The ultimate.
No. It would definitely still be dark and aggressive, but never enough.
Hey, Frankie. I don't know if you hear this often, man. You're a fucking legend. You're a fucking icon.
Legendary metalcore vocalist. We can go ahead and say that.
It's been
a while.
Yeah, you are someone that definitely within the music industry has like a stamp of infamy, I believe, man. And I appreciate you doing this. This is fucking a phenomenal interview. I feel like that you are a perfect representation of just angry and aggressive music all wrapped into one, man. And this couldn't have been a better interview to
But he's not an angry dude. It's crazy.
You're not, yeah. And that's what's beautiful, man. You had words of wisdom. You had great shit to bring to the table. You fucking dropped a bunch of nuggets of knowledge for anybody that's aspiring, looking to be an artist or a musician and make it in the world. Any last words, man? What do you have to say before you sign off? And where can they find you as well? The music, Emmure, all that.
Well, I don't do plugs for myself, but I hope that you guys find success in this, and I appreciate you guys having me.
Hey,
Thank you so much, Frankie.
Man.
I will plug his socials on social media. So look for that.
Emmure
Hindsight
Cult,
is in
obviously.
stores now. Go buy 8 physical copies of it. Go back and buy Felony and Respect issue too. Fuck it.
Thanks, guys.
Yes, we appreciate you, man. Matt, you have any other sign-offs before we get out of here?
At I Hate the Scene on Instagram. You can find me on this shitty Twitter handle because some dumb son of a bitch stole the name I wanted.
Fuck you, Jason Stallman. I'm sick of your shit. Give us back our name.
Pretty sure that's not his name, but fuck that guy. IHATE the Scene. I Hate the Scene. IHateTheScene.com. You can catch all the live streams on Facebook.com/IHateTheScene. We are on YouTube. We are on Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, and Hindsight. Again, Emmure Hindsight is on iTunes right now. If you have Apple Music, there's no fucking excuse that you're not streaming it all night. If you go to bed, put it on mute and then keep streaming the motherfucker.
There you go. Brian of Death is where you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and the Common Chaos for my podcast. Frankie, we can't thank you enough. Thank you for doing this again.
He's currently writing lyrics to the next album.
Yeah, I fucking know, and it better be a fucking banger. And the cover album better be coming quick. So
oh my god,
you know that, just so you know, you've opened a can of worms, and that's all we're coming at you with from now on.
Thanks. It's in the works, I promise.